Hey, hi everybody. You are watching Ujwal Discussion, and I'm your host Ujwal, and I'm back with another spoken English reminder video. It's been a long time since I uploaded the last spoken English reminder video. Hope you remember that. And after that, I'm shooting a spoken English reminder video today, and I'm all ready, right? I'm all set with my points that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to help you with a lot of stuffs today. Okay, you should not forget that I'm also a spoken English learner, right? You might think that, okay, this gentleman is a spoken English trainer, so for him it's very easy to speak English and he can give us a lot of dialogues on what we should do. But it's not like that. Okay, I am also a spoken English learner. I started my spoken English learning like in 2009, long time ago, but I still consider myself a spoken English learner. I'm an experienced learner and you are an inexperienced learner. That's the difference, right? So today an experienced spoken English learner is at your service. Okay, so today I'm here to share my whole experiences, like I would say today I'm here to share my whole practice experiences, like how I have been doing spoken English practice since I started learning spoken English until today. Because I think every spoken English learner has kind of a problem that they are not able to start. That's a problem. Like when I started learning spoken English, I faced this problem. I had a problem like, how can I start? Like, okay, my trainer has asked me to practice, but how can I start? I really don't know how to start a practice every day. And I can tag a lot of videos in the description on how to start and how you can start, right, practicing spoken English. You can check those videos, but finish this video because I'm going to share a lot of things today, a lot of points today. And if you are new on my channel, then consider subscribing to my channel because this is very important, right? Your subscription gives me a lot of encouragement. Okay, I'm not here to make a lot of money. I'm here to take my English to the next level, right? The purpose you have come to my channel with, I have the same purpose, right? I have the same purpose. I want to improve my English. And every day when I practice English with my students, I'm very fortunate, by the way. All the students you see on my channel, they're very lovely, they're very kind. Because every time I ask them to come in front of camera and talk to me in English, they never hesitate, they never say no. So I'm really indebted to all my students for the kind of cooperation and the kind of kindness they have shown recently, and they have been showing that consistently. So that's a really commendable thing for me as a trainer. Okay, so before I get into our main episode, let me talk about what you should be doing after you are done with this video. Okay, I don't know when you are watching this video. If you are watching this video in the morning, then your job is to close your YouTube app and you have to sit down with yourself and you have to practice. Okay, and let's say you are watching this video at night. Okay, then you have to do a bedtime practice. All right, let's say you are watching this video in the afternoon, right, in the middle of any kind of work, then you have to do a practice in your head. You have to say 5-6 sentences in your head. That's a ritual. Okay, that's a system, that's a practice, that's the discipline you have to maintain. Okay, without further ado, now let's get started with the video. Okay, so I have written here how many points? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so I have eight points for you. Okay, so the first point is practice old vocabularies. Okay, practice old vocabularies. You might practice the new vocabularies. Let's say you have got a new word and you write that down and you want to practice that, you want to apply that in your future conversation, but you often find yourself not remembering that word when a conversation is going on. And it happens, by the way, it happens because it happens to me all the time. So I am a victim of it. Okay, so but I want you to look at your old notebook, like the same notebook you're carrying. Look at the entries that you made probably few months ago. Are you applying those words successfully? Have you applied those words recently? If the answer is no, then it's the high time you have to pick those words and you have to apply in your conversation. Okay, so practicing old vocabularies is better than learning new vocabularies, because you make kind of a pile of the new vocabularies and you never use them. So it's better that you get back to the old vocabularies you made some entries of, and now your job is to start from the beginning. Okay, like the words you find very useful and fascinating, start using those words. All right, so I can see the point number 2, reading newspaper. Okay, now reading newspaper supports our first point, like practice old vocabularies. Now I am a huge newspaper reader. Like I'm a newspaper freak, you can say, like newspaper reading freak. Yeah, like I'm that kind of a person. Like I read newspaper every day, and I buy 2 newspapers for myself. I'm just a geek anyway. So I read newspaper every day. Why do I do that? I try to improve my pronunciation. My pronunciation is better now. Like when I started learning spoken English, oh my God, it was horrible. I would pronounce words like people would get crazy at me. Like people would get angry with me after hearing my pronunciation. All right, it was a time when I was being bullied and criticized by people constantly. Yeah, but I've been able to fix that problem. Like reading newspaper has helped me a lot. Reading newspaper can help you with vocabularies, topics, and most importantly, like you can practice your old vocabularies. Like let's say you are reading a newspaper. If you read 5 to 6 news piece, like if you read like 5 to 6 news topics, then you find like 10 to 15 words are common in all these 10 news stories. So for that reason, newspaper reading is a great help. If you haven't started it yet, then you have to start today. Okay, reading newspaper is fun. You just have to take it seriously. I remember when I started reading newspaper. Now one gentleman would just make his eyes like this, and he would stare at me like, "What are you doing? Like, can you understand? You're being judged by people so easily. Like when you grab an English newspaper and people know that you are not from English medium." People like eat you alive, right? But what can you do? Like obstacles are always there, and as a Stoic says, obstacle is the way. So you just have to think about that, right? Sometimes quotes come in your rescue. They help you a lot. Give it a thought. Okay, now reading newspapers. Point number 2. Point number 3, watch the first podcast you watch. This is my favorite. This is my favorite because let me tell you why. Because I remember I watched Jay Shetty's podcast with Tom Bilyeu. You can see the podcast on your screen. I'll tag that link in the description. If you are interested, then you can watch this podcast. I remember when I watched this podcast, I watched it at its upload. Like I was the first few people, those who watched this podcast, and the podcast was a hit, right? I remember I just watched this podcast multiple times because Jay Shetty's accent and how he speaks, like it kind of like made me crazy, and after that I watched that podcast like 3 years later, and oh my God, like I understood the podcast in a different way. Okay, first time when I watched the podcast, I couldn't understand his accent and so many other stuffs were there. But now when I listen to Jay Shetty, now when I watch that podcast, right, some of the points just went over my head when I watched it for the first time. But the second time when I watched it, and the third time I watched it, as I kept on watching, so I realized that yes, this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted, right? I wanted to understand, and that proves that if you keep on doing one thing regularly and consistently, it really helps you, right? So now I can understand Jay Shetty's accent really well. Okay, so watch the first podcast you watched. It's brilliant. Like you understand that how much you have grown as a spoken English learner, how much you have learned as a spoken English practitioner. Okay, so point number 4. Okay, on your screen, practice mimicking your favorite speakers. Wow, this I think has some kind of relation with our previous point. Like I would mimic Jay Shetty. It's a funny story. I would mimic everybody I would watch, and I became everybody, right? Until I made my accent, until I made my type, my style, right? So yeah, it took me a great deal to like curate my personal style, and now the kind of style I have, that gives me kind of an identity, right? So yeah, you have to practice mimicking your favorite speakers. Well, if I'm your favorite speaker, then don't hesitate mimicking me, right? There is no copyright. Okay. You can mimic me. You can try to speak like me. Though I'm not a very good speaker, but I'm trying to become a better speaker every day. I'm your friend, right? I'm your trainer, but I'm your friend, right? You can mimic me, right? You can try to speak like me, if you find my speaking interesting. Practice mimicking your favorite speakers. It's kind of fun. Like I think you get a point. You get a, what can I say, purpose of practicing spoken English. Often we lack topics, so this could help you. All right, so we have another point. Point number 5. Learn to convert anything into a topic. Wow. Learn to convert anything into a topic. Can you imagine that? Like for me, like if you ask all my students, they say Sir is notorious in just turning anything into a topic, right? I see something like somebody says, sir, I was ill yesterday, so I could not come to the class. Okay, so let's say somebody says this thing, and I say, okay, tell me the 5 advantages of illness. They say, what are you saying? Like five advantages of illness? So they kind of react like, what kind of a topic is this? Okay, but yeah, this is who I am, right? So learn to convert anything into a topic. But on a serious note, like we often lack topics. So we say, okay, I don't have any topic. How can I practice English? So we search topics on the internet. And sometimes internet disappoints us because it shows us the same results, right? And some of the topics end up the topics I get on the internet, they're not good for the advanced learners or senior speakers. Why? Because you need a lot of data to talk about all this topic. Like they're either on politics, or they're either about like economy or global warming and so many other stuff. Like most people don't read. Trust me, if you find this very difficult to digest, but this is the reality that most people don't read. And for that reason, what happens, like they lack data and they can't talk about topics like that. Okay, so if you are not a consistent newspaper reader, as I said that in my second point, so if you are not a consistent newspaper reader, you will be lacking a lot of data and you will find it difficult to talk about English. Okay, talk about any topic. Yes. So yeah, you can learn to convert anything into a topic. So like let's say after this video, if you want to take this video as a topic, you can talk about what you have learned from Ujjwal discussion, what Ujjwal has taught you, right? And like you can talk about it, you can criticize me, but yeah, like for a time being, for practicing, right? But don't criticize me seriously, right? Because criticizing others is kind of a very bad behavior and bad habit. So we shouldn't copy that. So you can do one thing. You can simply take this as a topic and talk about that. Okay. All right. So next we should look at point number 6. Yeah. Point number 6 is practice English every day. Practice English every day. This is very important. What I mean by that is thinking in English. Like we say at a particular time as a spoken English learners, we say that, okay, I have like morning for my spoken English practice and I'll be doing it in the morning. But what about the rest of the day, right? If you remove morning from your day, then you have a lot of hours. What are you doing in those hours? That somewhere shapes your English, right? So you cannot say like I will be only speaking English in the morning, practicing English in the morning. You have to practice English almost whole day, right? And thinking in English is a nice process, by the way. If you are able to think in English, you can. Let's say you are at a bank and you are there for any kind of bank related work and you were standing in a queue. So what can I do? You can see around you and you can look around you and you can talk about that, right? You can look at the manager, what he's doing. Ask yourself the question, what is he doing? Okay, and then you go on talking about that. Okay, look at the other people, observe them, and just do like these conversations. Of course, you are doing with yourself, so it is it's silent, right? You are thinking in English. You're saying, oh, this man is okay, very nervous. Why? Has he lost his money, or does he need money? Okay, I think this gentleman has to feel a little bit happy because problem is always there. You just have to find a solution. And sometimes solution is there, but some people are not able to find it. And some solutions are not so easy. Like it's easier said than done. So you are doing this kind of conversation, right? You are doing this kind of nonsense, but this really helps you. Okay, this really helps you. So you are doing that in your head. You're not speaking out loud. Otherwise, people will hold you mad. Yeah. So don't do that. Yeah. So think in English. Practice English every day. Thinking in English is a solution. Okay. And when you get enough time to practice English, then why not speak out loud? All right. Point number 7. No speaking partner. Speak English alone. Ooh, like. I think my students have done a bunch of videos on this. They shared their practice experience. They said that how they practice spoken English at home alone. One video just went viral. Boom. I think it was Mo Porno who shared her spoken English experience, that like her practice experience that she does at home. You can check that video out in the description. All right, this video is a viral one, so yeah, you will get a lot of enjoyment. It's a very short video. Okay, it will encourage you to speak English. All right, so no speaking partner, speak English alone. This point is very important. So most of the time what happens, like we try to speak English every day and we say, okay, today I'm very excited to practice English, but whom should I speak English with? I do not have any partner. These are all excuses. You should not make these excuses. You know that if you do not take your English seriously and if you don't hold yourself responsible for taking your English to the next level, then nobody is going to help you. Nobody can help you, and you are not going to get anybody to practice English with. No, it's just a myth that I need somebody to practice English with. And the best way to practice English with somebody is to join a spoken English course. If you find any spoken English center nearby, then just take a membership of that and keep going there every single day. And you'll get some students, like-minded people out there, and you can practice English with them. All right. So if you say that no speaking partner, I just want to, how can I practice spoken English? Get rid of this excuse. Okay, it's not gonna help you. All right, so that's I'm keeping it short. You have understood the crux of the matter, right? I don't have to go like this. Okay, so now last point, I think point number 8 is practice journaling. Now practice journaling, meaning that you have to write. Okay, you have to write things on the paper and then you have to learn them. Okay, why am I saying this? Because what happens, like, if you think that, oh, I've never written anything, look at my handwriting, it's so horrible, how can I write things, I've never shown my writing anybody, people laugh at my handwriting. Forget about all this. Okay, forget about all that. You just have to write. Either you're writing on your phone, laptop, or on paper. Just you have to write things down, okay? And don't say that I don't know what to write. You can write your daily routine, right? Write what you did yesterday, write what you're gonna do tomorrow, write your next 5 days plan, okay? Write all these things, and then you can see the kind of help you are getting. Why? Because you can see your thoughts on a paper. Let's say you are speaking English, you have just spoken, gone, right? You don't know what you said. Like, I have been speaking English for about, I don't know, like quite a few minutes, and like, I don't know, like what I said, no recording. Like, I have to listen to this video if I want to listen to my own speaking, whatever I've said. Like, so for that reason, I think writing is fantastic. Like, when you are writing, then you are able to get back to it, like what I wrote yesterday. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me differentiate between my writing that I did 2 weeks ago and the writing I've done today. Then you can see the significant difference between both these writings, right? And this is how you grow, right? If you are not able to track your growth, then you are not able to motivate yourself, right? You get motivated by look at the graph, like how much I have improved and developed as a speaker, right? So these things really help. So write every day, and don't just make an excuse that I can't write, I'm not a writer. You are a writer, believe in that, okay? All right, guys, so I have helped you today with 8 important points that you have to keep in mind and you have to keep practicing, okay? So the first point was practice old vocabs. Second point was reading newspaper. And the third point was watch the first podcast you watched. Very important, right? Practice mimicking your favorite speakers is our point number 4. Point number 5, learn to convert anything into a topic. 6, practice English every day, thinking in English. No speaking partner, speak English alone. And the last point, practice journaling, okay? So these 8 points are very, very important for you, and you have to keep these points in mind. And whenever you lack vocabularies, you have to practice old vocabularies, you have to read newspapers, you have to listen to English movies and podcasts, and then you get a lot of vocabularies, right? So yeah, these points are gonna help you, certainly. And if you think that you want to join my class, right, I provide online classes. If you want to be part of it, then you have to be rich, because my fee is very high, exorbitant, okay? It's a new word for you. You can see the meaning on the screen. My fee is very high. If you are wealthy enough, sorry to say, but I'm serious, then you can join my class, and then your English will be in the next level, okay? And if you find this video useful, share this video with 3 of your spoken English learner friends, okay? And if you think that you want to watch more videos like this and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then what are you doing? Subscribe to this channel, hit the like button, and check out all the recent videos in the description, okay? And there is some important information you can find in the description. All right, until next time, guys, you take care, and I'll see you with another video. Bye.